schoolers, sixth graders.
Guys.
Okay, so I'm Mrs. Sweeney.
I'm Mrs. Beck.
I'm Mrs. Hamby.
And we're your science teaching team this year. So to start off with our first lesson that we're going to be talking about with the scientific method, some very important things you need to know. Observations. So, how do we observe things?
Well, we use our senses. We know about 5 senses we can use when we observe. We can observe by looking at things.
Using our ears.
Our nose to smell.
We can use our hands to touch.
Sometimes, if it's safe and not in a lab environment, we can taste things.
But
Yes.
not usually taste.
Not during science time, though. Not usually. Okay.
But these are our best ways to make our observations.
So observations, just what we see. We're going to describe just what we see, hear, taste, touch, and that's it. We're just describing that. And
Okay.
from that, what can we do?
Well, then we can make some inferences about why they might be the way they are. So, what do you think is an inference? Inference.
I think that when we use our observations to take in information, we might be able to connect what our observations are with things that we already have experienced in life.
So we're going to make some connections?
Making connections.
Yeah,
Okay.
use some clues and what you remember and recall.
Yeah.
Kind of like CSI.
Yes,
Yeah.
like we're detectives.
All right, well, let's see. How can we do this today?
So we're going to do an example and make some observations and some inferences. And we got several things here. Let's look first at, we've got a couple of interesting measuring, science measuring tools. What are these, Miss Hamby?
We have a large beaker. Okay, that's our beaker.
That's big. How
It
much
is.
does that measure?
It measures, when we look at the side, it goes all the way up to 1,000 milliliters.
Ooh, a milliliter is
Which
not
is-
very big, but 1,000 of them?
1,000 of them, yes.
Oh my goodness.
1,000
what about
milliliters
this?
or 1 liter.
1 liter, yes.
This is a graduated cylinder, but it's a large one. It's 500 milliliters.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's like I learned in math class that sometimes it's not really the visual what you see, but 2 of these would fit in 1 of these?
Yes, and that's
Wow,
hard to
that's
believe.
cool. That
It's
is
so
hard
much
to believe.
taller, but yeah. All right, so this is our measuring tool, and we're going to do some observations with some materials
Some
that you
common
might be
stuff.
familiar with. So this first one, we've got Coca-Cola. I'm sure that we've all tasted and tried Coca-Cola so that we have some background experience. So if we just use our observation.
Did we want to talk
Oh,
about
well,
this?
what's the other one? Yeah.
Well, this is the other thing we're going to use today, and it's called Clorox. But uh-oh,
Oh,
what's the scientific name?
it's also sodium hypochlorite. Very dangerous
Very dangerous.
substance.
Very dangerous.
Do not taste or drink this.
Good for laundry.
Ever.
And
That's about it.
All right, so if we were just to use our senses for taking in observations for the Coca-Cola, what are some things that we notice? Yes.
The color.
Okay, what about it?
Yeah, what about
It's dark. Brown,
It's
maybe?
a dark brown color, right? And so that is an observation. And I notice when I look really close, I see all these little bubbles. So we can write that down as one of our observations. It's bubbly. And
Oh, I know. It's a liquid, and so it changes shape depending on what kind of container it's put in.
so it's
It's a
liquid. Let's see, I'm gonna
You
open up this bottle.
We heard a sound.
What is
I heard
that?
it.
Oh, look, and the bubbles got bigger. And
It's fizzy.
so let's use our sense of hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you probably have heard this before. So it makes a crackly, fizzy sound. So that's an observation. Now, if we take these observations and kind of use what we already know from our experiences, we can make some inferences about the soda.
Okay.
So why do we think that it's a dark brown color? Yes.
I think it's dark brown because of all the caramel syrup they put in it.
Yes, and if we look at the ingredients,
Ingredients.
thank you. It does. It has corn syrup because caramel color. And so that's what gives it that color. And we knew that it was something in the ingredients that did that. We see bubbles. So what is it that we think, what can we connect and infer about these bubbles that are in here?
Well, soda is carbonated, and it gets carbonated from carbon dioxide.
And
So when the carbon dioxide is released and is able to move around more freely,
And that's
it
what we-
releases that gas.
and we hear those bubbles. And again, that's where the fizzy sound. So the carbonated part of this soda is what gives it the bubbles and the fizzy sound. All right, good.
Alrighty.
Bleach, let's make some
Oh, I
observations.
just have one more.
Yes, Miss Hamby.
Miss Beck, does this have a smell?
Oh,
Do we
great.
know?
That's another way to make an observation. So,
Should we pour it in our beaker to see if it smells?
okay, let's pour.
Good idea.
I'm gonna measure to the 500.
We have to
milliliter.
look at the meniscus. Do you want me to help you?
Yes, we have to get eye level.
Are we counting the fizzies or just the brown part?
Well, we're gonna have to let it settle, I think. So the fizzes will go over the 500 a little bit, and then
Okay, so here's 500.
tell me when to stop.
And
You can really
stop.
see all the
Woo.
gas bubbles. Fizzy.
Yes, and we can really hear it now.
That's
A little bit more.
Little
really
bit more.
close, almost.
Stop. That's good.
All right. So,
Good. Now,
anytime we're in a lab, we always want to be very, very careful about the materials we're using. Okay, we know Coca-Cola is safe, but we always treat our materials carefully. And if I wanted to smell what was in the lab, I never ever want to do what?
put your nose in it.
I never want to put my nose right up to it.
Never put your face close.
So I'm going to put my safety goggles on if I can get them on. And then we're going to do the method that we use that's safe for when we are trying to see if it has an odor. We hold it out, or we can actually come down to it and just waft it over. It kind of has a very
Swedish.
neutral, a sweet kind of smell, but not too strong.
Like
so-
those sweets.
So slightly sweet smell.
Yeah.
And why do we think that it has a sweet smell? From our observation, we can make our inference.
Because it's full of sugar.
Sugar. Lots and lots.
Lots and lots of sugar.
All right, now that is our observation and inference for the Coca-Cola. What about this? We said it was
Dangerous.
dangerous, and we know we use it for
Cleaning our lab
cleaning our
coats.
clothes. So that's going to come in handy when we make our inferences. So
All
we're
right, let's measure out 200 milliliters of Clorox.
Okay. I'm going to put my glasses on again. And I had a funnel. Miss Sweeney is going to grab my funnel
Okay.
that I thought I had. Just 1 second, and we're going to grab our funnel. All right, here we go. So we like to put our funnel in so that we don't make any splashes.
And then 200 is going to be here, right? Is that the 200 line? Or is this one? I can't see
I
that.
can see it through, and I'm going to turn it so you
Thank
can
you.
see
Oh,
it.
there it is, yeah.
There.
Oh, that looks different than I thought it was going to
It
look.
does.
I know, I thought so too.
One of our first observations, what's the difference in color?
Yeah, this
You
doesn't
can see
look,
that it's like.
doesn't look white like it
doesn't-
makes our clothes,
Yeah, I
does
thought
it?
it would be clear.
Right, it's
But
a
it's not
pale
clear.
yellow.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, it is.
what are we looking for when we measure in this graduated cylinder?
We're looking at the meniscus.
And what is a meniscus? I know we're going to be learning about that.
The meniscus is the curved line at the bottom of, at the top of a liquid, but you want to look for the meniscus. You look at the bottom of the meniscus when you're reading the graduated cylinder.
All right, so I think we're a little over, just a little tiny bit, but about 200 milliliters. And so our observation, we said, is a pale yellow.
What's another observation that you made?
There are not really a whole lot of moving bubbles like we had in the soda,
Yeah.
so
No,
there's
there are
a little
some
bit-
bubbles.
There are some bubbles, and
I think that's from the way you poured it.
right, but there's not moving bubbles.
Like we still
Like
see
we
in
see-
the soda, there's
Right.
still,
Those bubbles are just coming to the top, pop, 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 pop.
we don't see that fizzy.
It's not fizzy.
It didn't have any fizz in it.